From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join the exchange because your business is our business. More Filipinos are opening their wallets to leisure activities as revenge spending lingers over 3 years into the pandemic. What first started out as hobbies have become streams of income for some, and many are supporting these booming industries, while others are turning art and music into entertainment suitable for large audiences. The vision of quality production in our C-Suite vision. The Philippines' economic engine is mainly driven by consumer spending. Where do leisure activities come into the picture? Let's now have an exchange with John Paolo Rivera from Oikonomia Advisory and Research. Well, thank you so much for joining us, John Paolo. How important is leisure spending for the overall economy?
Well, leisure spending is part of that spending component of our economy that fuels the GDP because it's really coming from the households, from individuals, trying to contribute to the growth of our economy.
And of course, this is also being fueled by remittances from overseas, from our overseas Filipino workers. They contribute close to $30 billion a year. And that really fuels leisure spending among our kababayans.
That's true, and because it's also the remittances that actually augments the household income, prompting them to spend more than usual.
And is this also an indication that leisure spending has also played a key role in the so-called revenge or relief spending?
The revenge or relief spending was basically driven by the fact that people, households, were actually cooped up in their homes during the pandemic. And this surplus in money that they have that they were not able to spend on other spending items before, they're trying to spend it now to catch up with time.
But can it be sustained, John Paolo?
Well, I don't think it can be sustained because these money used for revenge spending were actually sourced from the savings that was generated during the pandemic. And with inflation still relatively higher, prices are still going up, and savings is being depleted, then it might slow down.
So they're checking their passbooks right now and their ATM cards, and they're basically seeing on a daily basis that their savings are being depleted. And you mentioned a very key word there, which is inflation. It reached a 14-year high several months ago. It has settled a bit to about 5% over the past month. So does this really start to weigh again on our kababayans' leisure expenses?
Well, the inflation rate, the high inflation rate that we had in the previous month were partially driven by this revenge spending because there's just excessive demand. And now that there are signs that inflation is slowing down, it is also a sign that this revenge spending is also slowing down. And with that, prices are now going down, and it will be a continuous cycle of now people will now save, spend a little bit more, but not as much as before because they need to revenge save.
Oh, revenge save. But on the flip side, if we're seeing prices come down and they still have savings, then they could use the savings to buy back.
To buy back again, but there is now time for them to not to hurry spending. Unlike before during the pandemic, I need to spend because I don't know if I will still be alive tomorrow.
And which particular industries, John Paolo, are benefiting from this leisure spending?
Well, it's the tourism industry, the hospitality is benefiting so much because they need this. The fact that people would like to travel again, these businesses are benefiting because they can now have the cash flows that they needed during the pandemic. Number two would be retail and shopping because these people, they have savings and they can now afford these items that they are not able to afford prior to the pandemic.
What about entertainment? Watching concerts, watching plays, watching ball games. I mean, the tickets here are not also cheap. They're in the thousands of pesos per ticket. Are we also seeing Filipinos revenge or relief spending on these, I would say, luxury items?
Well, concerts are part and parcel of the spending habits of Filipinos, especially that we are a art and music lover society. And the fact that there is this still, no, the element of revenge spending among Filipino households, these producers of concerts are taking advantage of this one in order to generate revenues and higher profits for their concerts. As Filipinos really are into watching the celebrities perform.
I know, celebrities like Bruno Mars,
Yeah.
Filippo Lippi's Per Sorensen, and then you have Alanis Morissette, and dozens of K-pop groups have been flooding into the Philippine market. But can this be sustained? People watching concerts, watching ball games at this rapid pace?
Well, that depends on who is performing and where it is being performed. Because as of the moment, having concerts, entertainment, leisure in the Philippines, done in the Philippines, is good for the economy. Especially that Filipinos are still into spending right now. But the conversation will change if these concerts will be held abroad, wherein it's not our economy who will benefit from that.
The bottom line, John Paolo, when all is said and done, all of this revenge spending, the 7.6% growth in 2022, the 6% growth in the first half of 2023, is this an indication of our kababayan's economic confidence in this Marcos Jr. administration?
Well, it can be an indication that the fact that remittances are coming in, consumption is increasing, there is confidence in the market that employment will continue, income-generating opportunities are here, and households are confident enough that their savings can be replenished because they have employment opportunities and income-generating activities.
Well, everything looks so positive, but what are the red flags
Oh.
that are being raised by all of this spending?
Well, the red flags would be the fact that there is a chance that economies all over the world, not only in the Philippines, might slow down because of the slowdown of revenge travel, which will have an impact on these economies that are also highly driven by consumption. Because if consumption slows down, the GDP of the Philippines might slow down because of the reduction in consumption. And with that, there is this red flag that you said, that the economy might tend to move towards a slower growth, which might affect investors and this employment confidence.
Thank you so much for this leisure spending exchange, John Paolo Rivera from Oikonomia Advisory and Research. And now, here are the week's top business stories. The country's outstanding debt breached 14 trillion pesos in the month of May. The Treasury Bureau attributes the month-on-month increase to more local and foreign loans and the Philippine peso's weaker performance against the US dollar. Prices of basic goods rose at a slower pace for the fifth straight month in June as inflation slowed to 5.4%. And the S&P Global's latest survey reveals the country's factory activity expanded at its slowest pace in 10 months in June. And straight ahead on the exchange, where your business is our business. Sports goes beyond the court. People also pay to see other kinds of action unfold, whether online or in the martial arts ring. Montu Games and URCC join us next. And a number of Filipinos save up to go to concerts or entertainment events. We find out about how production companies give audiences the time of their lives. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust.